Today, we're going to continue to look at no trump contracts. The bidding is finished, and you find yourself in some kind of denomination of a no trump contract. 1 no, 2 no, 4 no, 5 no, 7 no, whatever it's going to be. The opening lead is made, and the dummy comes down on the table, and you want to stop right there. You do not want to call from any card from the dummy until you have taken a moment or two to study the hand. You're analyzing the hand, you're analyzing a number of things, which we'll talk about, and you're making your plan for how you're going to play this contract. First of all, you want to look at the opening lead. What is the significance of the opening lead? I refer you back to in January, the end of January, and the 1st of February, and I have those listed for you, the lessons I did on opening leads against no trump. One of the lessons dealt with if your partner has overcalled against a no trump contract, the opening lead that you might make. So I refer you back to those 2 lessons. I can give you those dates at a later time today if you want to know when I did cover that information. But you, the declarer, need to think about, is this the top of nothing? Is this a sequence? Is this the 4th best? All of those questions. Does this lead threaten my contract? Is this not going to be a problem for me? Or whatever. So the opening lead, you want to think about that lead. You want to count your winners. You always start by counting your winners. What if I just decided I'm cashing everything I've got right now? How many winners would I have? 5, 6, 7, whatever it would be. So the definite winners that you have in your hand, count those first. Then how many more tricks do you need to make your contract, whatever denomination you're in? If you're in 7, you're going to have all 13 of them. Okay, so what are some ways? I have so many tricks in the bag. What are some ways that I am going to be able to get some extra tricks? Is one of the 2 hands a danger hand? What that means is there one hand, either east or west, that I don't want to let in lead because they're going to lead through something that a suit that I'm vulnerable in. So that's a very big consideration. If you're going to take a finesse, which way would you take it? You want to try to keep what you think the danger hand out of the lead because they can hurt you. And finally, and this is most important, before you call for that first card from the dummy, look at the entries that you have in the dummy. Now, when you're in no trump, you have a lot of entries in your hand because you have the big cards. But maybe you have a long suit you want to run in the dummy and you don't have but 1 or maybe 2 at most entries. So you want to really preserve and hold on to those entries and not squander at trick 1. A lot of people squander at trick 1, play that entry, the only entry they had, and then later on the hand, they have no way to get over there. So if you can take it in your hand rather than taking it in the dummy, and you might need that entry, think about that before you call for the first card. Once you've gone through all that, made your plan, now you call for the first card from the dummy. The race is on. The defense is going to be trying to establish their tricks and their winners and set you, and you, on the other hand, are going to be trying to establish your tricks, cash them, and make your contract. So it's literally a race between the 2 sides, unless you are lucky enough that you have 9 cashable tricks and 3 no trump without ever letting them in. Okay, I want to continue now. Normally the lead they make is from length and strength, but not always. And I'll refer you back to the February the 1st lesson. Also, if their partner has made a bid in the auction, refer you to the February the 8th leads that you would make if your partner has bid against a no trump contract. Last week, we looked at one of the 2 strategies that is quite useful to the declarer, and it is the hold-up play. It's a play of where you take not early, but later your stopper. In other words, you're trying to break the lines of communication between the 2 opponents. This next hand, I want to look at one more hand, and this one came from 3 No Trump in Depth by Augie Boehm. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but let's look at it. South opens the hand, has 15 high card points, opens the hand with 1 No Trump. I don't think West will overcall, although online they are overcalling 2 hearts. If they do, though, you got a way to punish them now. Looking at the north hand, she has 11 high card points, does not have a 4-card major. There's no need to transfer to anything. And so 3 no trump, 1 no trump, 3 no trump, early arrival, give away the least amount possible. The opening lead made, if you all look at the opening lead, West, I would lead the Jack of Hearts. I think all of us should consider that Jack of Hearts is your lead. You don't have any other information. It's the top of a sequence. So I would lead the Jack of Hearts. And the dummy comes down. At this point now, the declarer, South, needs to count your winning tricks. You have 3 spade tricks. With the heart lead, you have 2 heart winners. And you have 3 club winners. So if you count all that up, you have a total of 8 winners. You can't get but 3 tricks out of the spade suit. You're not getting but 2 tricks out of the heart suit, and only then because the guy led your heart forward right into your ace queen. You got 3 club tricks. Where is that 9th trick coming from? The only place it can come from is the diamond suit. But here's the problem. You've got to let them in twice, 2 times before you're going to get that diamond trick. So that's what you need to be thinking about it. All right, so the Jack of Hearts is playing. The 4 of Hearts comes out of the dummy. If you are East and you're holding that holding, you have the King X, you have to play the king. You have to unblock. You remember one of the suits we talked about, one of the lessons we talked about, when you have a big honor card and only a doubleton, you need to play that honor card to start unblocking. So he correctly plays the King of Hearts. If you now play the ace, you have lost the race. You will not make this hand. You've lost the race. What you need to do is not take the King of Hearts. Hold up. He comes on with a 2nd heart. Doesn't matter whether you play the ace or the queen, you're going to win it. And now what you do is you play your diamond. There's not a thing they can do about it. If West takes the diamond with her ace, she can play a 3rd heart and knock out your ace or your queen, whichever one's left. But you see, she has no entry. If she ducks the diamond lead and your partner, East, takes it with either the king or the queen, look at East. East has no more hearts to lead. So you're going to make your contract. The hold up allowed you to make this contract. If at trick 1, you overtake the King of Hearts with your ace, you have lost the race. You cannot make this hand. But if you hold up and do not take the King of Hearts, East will continue with the 2. You play either the ace or the queen, and now you play a diamond. And you have won the race. You're going to make the hand. So it's always a race. The hold up, what can go wrong here? Look at this hand, think about it many times, because the hold up is what allows you many times to make a contract. The second important strategy that you can use when you are a declarer is down here called the duck. A lot of people refer to it as a safety play, but they're not exactly the same. A duck is where you on purpose play small cards from both hands, the dummy as well as your own hand. Maybe you've got a long or 5 or 6 card suit in the dummy. You have no outside entries, but you do have maybe the ace king to the 5th or ace king 6th, but you have no outside entries. So the duck play is where you on purpose play a small, don't play that ace or king, but play a small card first time around from both sides. That's called the duck. A safety play to me is, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, a safety play is you look at a contract and it looks like you've got it solid, no problem, but you need to stop and think, well, what could go wrong in this hand? Maybe somebody's got all 5 hearts to the jack 10, and you need to plan for that. A safety play is where you on purpose sacrifice a trick in case you do get a bad break. Next week, we'll look at legitimate safety plays. But I just wanted to say that some people do, the duck is a kind of a safety play, but I really think there is sort of a difference between the two. Okay, let's look at the duck. You're in a no trump contract and you have 5 spades to the ace king on the board. You have no outside entries. So if you cash the ace king, even though maybe they break 3-3, you have no way to get the 7, the 6, or the 3. So the way you play this is you play a small one from your hand, and even if the queen comes out, or the 10 or the 9, do not play your ace, duck on the board. See, what you're trying to do is to give them their trick early, and notice I have underlined the word early. Give them the trick they're going to get early. Do not be hooked into playing your ace in case West pops up there with the queen. Play your 3. Then when you get back to your hand, lead again and play your ace king. And what you're hoping is that the suit has broken 3-3, and now your ace king takes their other 2 and you cash and you get 4 tricks out of the suit. But if you just play the ace king, that's all you're ever going to get in the suit. The only way you can possibly get 4 tricks is to duck the first round. Duck in both hands. The duck means to play a small card from both hands. And then you're hoping that the suit breaks 3-3 and that you're now going to be able to get 4 tricks in this suit. A second example is this one. Sometimes you have to duck twice. And of course, you have to assume that you've got everything well stopped so that you can do this. But again, the dummy has no other outside entries. It has 5 spades again to the ace. Play a small one from your hand and duck. Don't play that ace. When you get back to your hand, play another small one and duck. And then the third time you lead it, play the ace, and then hopefully then the other 2 little ones, the suit will have broken 3-3, and you will get those 2 little tricks, and that maybe will allow you to make your contract. So sometimes you have to duck twice. So the duck play is playing small from both hands. What you're trying to do is to set up winners in that side suit. And normally it'll be in the dummy, and it'll be a dummy in which you have no outside entries. All right, here is a situation where you have 7 cards in the suit. You have 4 in the dummy and 3 in your hand. The queen, jack, 10 are out, so you have to lose 1 trick at any event. There's no way possible that you're not going to lose at least 1 trick. But let's say that the dummy, again, has no outside entries. So the way you play this is you're hoping they're breaking 3-3. I believe one of the examples I did last week was when you could not let the opponents into the play of the hand because they have enough tricks set up that they're going to set you. But the only way you could do is to perhaps try to give them a trick early if you look back at that hand. But anyway, here you want to duck all the way around. If you play a small one, and even if the 9 comes out, don't play your ace, duck it, play the 4. And then when you get back to your hand, you're the no trump person, so you've obviously got entries. Now you play your second spade and you play your ace king, hoping that the suit has broken 3-3. And that way you can get 3 tricks out of this suit. Now that is if there are no outside entries in the dummy. You don't usually do a duck if you have outside entry in the dummy's hand. But these duck plays always come into play when there are no outside entries sitting in the dummy. And you have to give them tricks early so that when you do cash your big ones in the dummy, that the suit hopefully will run for you. So giving them their tricks early. All right, now when you have 8 cards, again, you give them the duck. You play a small one, the 2. If the 10 is played, do not play your ace. Assuming you do not have any outside entries over there in the dummy, you duck it, you duck in both hands. And then hopefully when you lead it the second time and play your ace king, the big cards will have fallen and the suit will have, and you'll be just fine and you will be able to cash all the other winners. So you just lose 1 trick. But if you play the ace, once the 10 is played or the queen, whatever she plays, if you play the ace, you're going to just get the 2 tricks. You're not going to get any more. Because by then they're going to be in and start cashing their winners and you will have lost the race. This next hand that I'm going to look at came from one of Bob Schumann's lessons. If you go to the lessons page, the lessons tab on the website, you will see over to the side a number of lessons that Bob Schumann posted there. And this hand that I'm going to do now, it's an example of the duck, did come from that website. So take a look at it. And let's look at it first. Let's see, I think I lost where I was. Excuse me just a minute till I get down to where I am. Okay. It is example 6. Okay, this is Bob Schulman's on his website, one of the hands that he gave you. Okay, let's look at the bidding first. You have 18 high card points in the south hand. This is a really good 18. You don't, normally with 15 to 17, but if you have a bad 18, maybe 3 jacks or something, maybe open a no trump. But here, this is legit. You don't want to open a no trump with this because you have really top prime cards. So you would begin opening this hand by one club, pass, and then your partner bids 1 diamond. And then south hand will rebid 2 no trump to show the 18 or 19 point hand. North with 7 points, with 8 points, will go immediately to 3 no trump. So it's going to be 3 no trump. The opening lead comes out as the 4 of clubs. Okay, let's look at it. The dummy comes down. First of all, you as the declarer, you want to count your winning tricks. You have 7 winners. You have 2 spades. You have 2 heart tricks. You have 2 diamond tricks. And you have 1 club trick. So you have 7 cashable. If you cashed out right now, you have 7 top tricks. You've got to get 2 more extra tricks. And they're going to have to come from the dummy, from the diamond suit. But you also note that you don't have any outside entries in that dummy. So that's something you want to park in the back of your brain as you're making your plan. The red flag there is no outside entries in the dummy. So the duck play is probably going to be coming into play here. All right, so when that 4 of clubs is led, play small from the dummy. Whatever East plays, if she plays small, you play your 10. If she plays an honor, you take your ace. Do you see that by covering whatever East plays, you set yourself up with a second stopper in the suit? If you duck whatever is played by the East hand, now you only got 1 stopper. So if let's say he plays the queen, you take your ace. Now the combination of the jack in the dummy and the 10 in your hand is a second stopper. So that gives you another trick. There you have 8 tricks, but you still got to see if you can get a diamond trick coming out of that north hand. So the way, of course, to play the hand is you want to play a small diamond and duck it all the way around. And then the second time you'll play the ace king and hoping that the suit is now set up for you and that you will get your 8th and 9th trick. If it works and you get the extra club trick, you're going to make 10 tricks on this. You're going to make an extra trick, maybe getting a pretty good board out of this hand. The key here, though, is you've got to do the duck play on the diamonds the first time, because you can't get but 2 extra. You're only getting the 2 tricks. You need a 3rd trick out of that diamond suit. Even with the lead of the 4 of clubs giving you a second trick in the club, that only gives you 8 tricks. You've still got to get an extra diamond trick. And the only way to get that is to duck the first time you play the diamonds. And then I think you're going to win the race and you are going to make your contract. Now I want to look at this hand, number 7. This is your suit. Let's say again it's spades. You have no outside entries, and you're saying, why in the world aren't we in a spade contract? But you're happening to be in 3 no trump, and you know you always have to play what you're in. You have to try to give yourself a chance to make it. There are 5 spades out to the king, jack, 10, 9, 8. So you always want to be thinking, what are the cards that are out? The only way that you could possibly make this hand is, first of all, you duck. When you play the 3, you duck, get back to your hand, and you finesse the queen. If that loses, you end up taking no tricks in the spade suit. and you're probably mad at me. But what I'm going to say to you is, if that king is sitting over here on the left side with the west, then you're going to make the contract. If it's sitting over here in the right side, then you're never going to make it anyway. Taking the ace, it ain't going to even help you if the king falls, because you're still not going to get any other tricks. So what I'm saying to you is, if you got one chance and one chance only, no matter what impossible contract you're in, you have to give yourself the chance to make it. So the first time you leave the suit, you duck, you play the 3. No matter what West plays, you play the 2. You get back to your hand, you play the 6, and you finesse the queen. If it works, then you're going to make the rest of the tricks. If it doesn't work, then you end up getting no tricks, and you're probably saying, well, everybody else is at least going to get one trick out, but they're not going to make it either. You have given yourself a chance to make it if it is possible to make it. So that's what I want always for you to be thinking. No matter what awful contract I'm in, do I have a chance? Give yourself a chance to make it, even if you go down 5 tricks. If you had a chance to make it, that's what you want to play for when you get in these bad contracts. A really good resource there is Terrence Reese. Maybe look that up. Look it up on the website, not on the website, but on the internet, and it gives you so many good examples of when to duck and when not to. All right, I've been doing everything from the standpoint of the declarer, but a defender can also use these 2 ploys to hold up. I'll give you an example next week of when a defender can hold up taking a trick and thwart the plan of the declarer. But I want to show you an example of how you, the defender, can duck and hoodwink the declarer in misplacing the cards. In this particular hand, when this 2 is led off the dummy, of course, East should play the 6, and you play your queen. Now, going back to something Karen said, if she's sitting there in person, she can see all the squirming, but virtually you can't see the squirming. What you want to do is play the 3 as smoothly, nonchalantly as you possibly can, and that is going to fool this declarer. In other words, you've done a duck. This is going to fool the declarer into thinking, oh, the ace is sitting over here in the East hand. And so leads a small diamond, takes the queen, it holds, leads a small spade, whatever, and finesses the 10, Jack wins, and you also get your ace. But it takes nerve, it takes a good nerve of steel to do it. And certainly if you're playing in person and Karen's looking at you, because if you're squirming and sweating, you want to be ready for that play. You duck, you play that 3, as just like that's all you got. You play it, and you may mislead the declarer into misplaying the hand. And in this particular example, that actually does. She thinks that the ace is sitting over here in the East hand, so she finesses the 10, East gets the Jack, and then you eventually going to get your ace. So you see, these ploys, not only the duck play, but the hold up can work for the defenders as well as the declarers. So I'll be looking at an example for the defenders next week of the hold up. Okay, next week, I am going to continue with no trump contracts. This will be the last installment I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about odds and ends. I'm going to give you some safety plays. I'm also going to talk about how you keep a dangerous opponent off the lead. Dangerous opponent can kill you if they get in at the wrong time, and they can set your contract. So I want to look at that. But I'd like to end up today with 2 examples. One of them was played by Kurt and Lou. And I want to look at the one by Kurt and Lou first. And let's look at the hand. I think you all played this last week. I'm not sure, a week ago. Anyway, let's look at the contract. East was the dealer and opened 1 no trump, 17 points, opened 1 no trump. Lou, I believe you held the south hand. You passed, although I think virtually some people would bid 2 hearts with that, but you did pass. And if you're vulnerable, I certainly would pass. And the West hand has 8 points, decides to invite. I think they use the two no-trump bids saying, I have 8 or 9 points. What do you want to do, partner? You want to pass 2 no-trump, or you want to do 3 no? And I believe then that East, having maximum prime cards, went on to 3 no-trump. Kurt led the 10 of hearts, and the dummy comes down. Now, this is a really interesting hand from about 5 different reasons. The king of hearts is singleton, and it actually holds the trick. If we're looking at it double dummy, so we can see all 4 hands. Double dummies when you can see all 4 hands. The king holds. So you have 1 trick in the bag. So if you are to declare, if you are East, you're going to count your tricks. You have 3 spade tricks. You have your king of hearts. If you knock out the club ace, you've got 4 club tricks probably. And maybe your diamonds break 2-2 and you have 5 diamond tricks. If I were the declarer, I would say, okay, I know that I don't have anything. They don't know I don't have anything else in hearts, but I know daggone good and well I don't have anything else in hearts. I cannot afford to let these people in. Therefore, I cannot afford to knock out the ace of clubs to set up some club tricks. So about all you can do is to say, okay, I have a chance here. I have 3 spade tricks. If the diamonds break 2-2, I have 5 diamond tricks, and I have my king of hearts, and that's 9 tricks. And I'm cashing out, and I'm making my contract. I'm winning the race. I'm going to make 3 no trump. So what she should have done is to play her ace and king of diamonds. And when the queen, 10, and the jack all fall, and they're 2-2, she now knows she has 5 diamond tricks. But let's say that when she plays the first diamond, the ace, she plays the 4. When she plays the king, she plays the 6. And she's sighing a relief. She goes over to the dummy, plays the 9 and the 8, and she has no way to get back to her hand now to do the diamonds, to get the diamonds. So what you have to do is you play the ace, king of diamonds, you play the 9 or the 8. When you play the king, you play the 6. You've got to preserve that 4 because that's the only way you can get back to your hand. You have to now cash your ace, queen of spades. And now you lead your small diamond over to the 8. You cash your king of spades. And now you lead your carefully preserved 4 of diamonds back, overtake with your 5, and then cash your remaining diamonds to make 3 no trump. This is an extremely interesting hand from the point of the defenders as well as the declarer. The declarer looking at a hand, she has the king of hearts, she has 3 spade tricks. She may have some transportation problems, but she can work it out. She has to realize she can't take the chance of not ever letting you guys in again. I think the way she played it, she probably went after the clubs. Kurt hopped with the ace of clubs. By the way, when the first heart is played and the king played, Kurt needs to start unblocking. I think he should play the jack of hearts. And then I don't know, I think what happened afterwards is the lady led a club. She takes his ace, and now he correctly plays his queen of hearts. Lou sitting down here was, I think, concerned, oh, well, should he overtake? Certainly you should overtake. He said, I don't know for sure if Kurt has 3 or not. It doesn't matter because your ace takes his queen, and now all your spot cards, remember Doug Altas talking about those spot cards, your 9 and 8 are all good. And so I think that's what happened. She went after the club. Kurt took the ace, and then he led his other big one. Lou overtakes and cashes all the hearts, and I think it was down 2. The problem with the north hand is you have to play on trick 1, you have to play the jack and you have to play the queen. You got to get out of the way. You have absolutely got to get out of the way if you didn't have a 2, so that when Kurt gets in, he can cash his hearts. But what I'm saying is the declarer made a mistake at trick 2, I think. She has to say, I can't let these guys in. The only way she can play it is to play her ace, king of diamonds, playing the 9 or the 8 the first time, and then she can play the 6 the second time. And then when they drop 2-2, she goes over to the 9 or the 8, but first she needs to cash her ace queen of spades. Then she goes over to the 8 of diamonds, cashes her king of spades, and then her 4 she overtakes with the 5 and she makes her contract. So that is quite a much more complicated hand than it could have been. She had a chance to make it. She didn't give herself a chance. So thank you, Lou and Kurt, for bringing that one in. Now, this last hand was brought in by Nisha. It occurred in the Roanoke Times under the Goring Bridge hand. It was the July the 11th edition. And it deals with the opening the week no Trump and all of the problems that you get into. And I don't know, but it was quite funny if you go back and read it. It just shows you the disasters that you can get into. The South hand opened 1 no Trump, 10 to 12 is what they played. Of course, they have to alert 10 to 12. So the West hand, I don't know if this was some years ago and it happened in Europe. I don't know if the Hello system was in at that point or time. If it were, I think I would have bid 2 clubs with the West hand. My partner's forced to bid, and let's say that the North hand doesn't bid, and my partner's forced to bid 2 diamonds, and then I would pass, and that's how you get to playing it at 2 diamonds. Of course, a double from Hello would mean for penalty, and I think she meant it as the West hand did mean it as a penalty double. So North looks at her hand, and she's got those 6 wonderful spades, and she thinks, oh, wow, we're making this hand, so she redoubles. I don't know how strong she thinks her hand is opposite a 10 to 12 opening bid, but she redoubles, and that's where it plays. And so, first of all of those 7 diamonds are cashed, and somewhere along the way, the East hand lets her know I have clubs, and so she shifts to the club, and they take all the tricks. And this hand went down something like 1,700 points. Thank goodness they weren't vulnerable, they would have gone down over 3,000 points. I don't know if these 2 people are still speaking to each other, but now look at this. First of all, the week no Trump is, I know people are playing it, but I don't think any of us need to be playing it. But if you had been holding the North hand and knowing that your partner had opened a week no Trump, when this double comes out on the West side, bid 2 spades right there. What if there had been no bid and your partner opened a week no Trump? You're going to bid. I think you're probably you want to just play it in, if it's as low as 10 to 12, I would bid 2 hearts transferring to 2 spades, and that's where it's going to play. I wouldn't even give it a second thought. But instead of redoubling, for heaven's sakes, bid 2 spades. That's what you want to be in. But you see the disaster that this turned up being. I don't know, but the point I would make here is if you and your partner get in an awful, terrible, absolutely awful, down 4,000 points, it doesn't do any good to be mad at your partner for the next 10 years. It happens. Just let it go. And just hope that nobody else is playing in that game who will know who you are, and you can just get out of Dodge fast and don't ever talk about it again. It does no good to get that upset. I will give you a case in point. Back when I first started virtual, I wasn't playing in any games or anything. Betty and I would just, humans from New York, and I would just sign on, and we just play against whoever signed up, I wouldn't know them or anything. We just playing casual bridge. And this guy opened something, and they get up to 6, and Betty doubled it. Well, the next guy redoubled it. Well, when the dust had settled, they had gone for 5,100 points. We got plus 5,100, they got minus 5,100. But in the defense of the poor guy that redoubled, his partner was so mad, the declarer, that he on purpose gave us at least 5 or 6 tricks because he wanted to punish his partner. He was so angry at his partner for redoubling that he wanted to, I'll really show my partner for doing that stupid bid. So he on purpose lets Betty and me take all the tricks. He would have actually given us the third, he didn't take but 1 trick. He would have actually taken more tricks, but he was even trying to give us the 13th trick, but at some point he had to actually win 1 trick. Again, it does no good to be angry at your partner and try to punish your partner. You just have to let this kind of hand go. But anyway, I think that the moral of the thing is this week, no Trump, unless you're a really top player, you want to stay away from it because it is fraught with all kinds of problems and rebids and all those kinds of things. So next week, I will see all of you. We will look at the third installment of No Trump. And I believe Preston and Karen are playing this afternoon. Good luck. And all the rest of you, when you're playing this week, good luck to you in your hands. And let me stop the record.